All right, so get ready because today we are going deep into some pretty unconventional territory.
Oh,
Yeah. We're going to be cracking open Rise of the Phoenix, which is a dating advice program by Sebastian Harris.
okay.
And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking a dating program for this show.
There's a out there.
But trust me on this one. This one gets really interesting.
Okay.
It's not just about how to pick up dates or anything like that. It actually goes into like psychology and persuasion and even this idea of self-acceptance.
Huh. It's interesting how a program that's designed to help men achieve sexual choice,
Mm.
as Harris puts it, can touch upon all these kind of universal themes.
Yeah, sexual choice.
Yeah.
That's an interesting term. We should unpack that a little bit later. But first, tell me about this Sebastian Harris guy.
Okay.
He kind of presents himself as this self-made expert, right?
He does, and he openly talks about these personal challenges he's had to overcome.
Oh, really?
He was born with a heart defect. He even mentions having scars, and he even jokes about his baby face.
Right.
It's almost like he's saying, look, I've been through some tough stuff, but I've come out on top, and you can too.
He's like the phoenix rising from the ashes.
Constantly. He uses that metaphor constantly.
Yeah.
And it's a clever tactic, though. It really taps into our inherent desire for transformation and resilience.
Yeah.
We are naturally drawn to stories about people who overcome adversity.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives us hope.
Right.
Yeah, so he's using his personal story to kind of like connect with the reader
Yeah.
and set the stage for his program. But how does he translate this phoenix metaphor into like concrete dating advice?
One of his central analogies is what he calls the peacock's tail.
Okay, the peacock's tail.
So he argues that average-looking men with game are more attractive to women than conventionally good-looking men. And he compares this to female birds being more attracted to male birds with large, cumbersome tails.
Okay, I'm trying to picture this on a first date. I don't know if this is working for me.
Yeah, and he suggests it's because these features signal strength and survival in spite of this handicap.
So he's saying that women are like hardwired to be attracted to guys who can like survive with a giant impractical tail.
Well, it's a simplification, of course.
Okay.
While evolutionary psychology does suggest that there are some biological underpinnings to attraction, human behavior is a lot more complex than that.
Sure.
You know, social conditioning, personal preferences, cultural influences all play a role.
Right. So the peacock analogy is more of a catchy hook than a scientific treatise on attraction.
Exactly. It's important to remember that human relationships are nuanced
Yeah.
and can't be reduced to simple animal analogies.
That makes sense. Okay, so now another concept that Harris emphasizes is this idea of radical self-acceptance. He even tells the story about a woman finding his scar attractive because it shows that he's a survivor.
This idea of vulnerability and authenticity being attractive is really interesting, and there's actually a growing body of research suggesting that being genuine and open about our imperfections can make us more relatable and attractive to others. It aligns with this concept of self-compassion, championed by researchers like Krista Neff.
So instead of trying to hide our flaws, we should embrace them.
It's possible.
Is he saying that by accepting ourselves fully, we like naturally become more confident and more attractive?
Yeah, when we're comfortable in our own skin, we're less likely to seek validation from others.
Right.
And this can lead to a more relaxed and authentic demeanor, which can be incredibly attractive.
I can see that, but is there like a balance to be struck between self-acceptance and self-improvement?
That's a great question.
Like, if we embrace all our flaws, does that mean we should just give up on personal growth?
I think the key is to distinguish between accepting our inherent worth as individuals
Okay.
and striving to be the best versions of ourselves.
So it's not an either situation.
Right.
We can accept ourselves as we are while still working towards goals.
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot between self-love and personal growth.
Okay, I like that. So Harris also dives into some very specific techniques in his program. And, well, let's just say some are more eyebrow-raising than others.
Some are a little out there.
Like what? Spill the tea.
Well, he talks about looking slightly to the left of a woman's eyes to gauge her interest.
Wait, so he's suggesting looking to the left of someone's eyes? Is that like some kind of Jedi mind trick? What's the logic there?
He doesn't fully explain it, but it seems to play into this idea of like subtle cues and reading body language.
Okay, I mean, I can see how that might be intriguing to some people. Well, what else does he suggest?
But he also talks about leveraging geeky hobbies to attract women, but he uses the phrase sneaky way. which is a bit concerning.
Sneaky way.
Yeah, it implies using passions not as genuine expressions of self, but as tools to manipulate women into finding them interesting.
So even something as authentic as a hobby is being framed through this lens of manipulation.
Unfortunately, yes.
So this geeky hobbies tactic, is he suggesting that we all become LARPers to find love? I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah, it definitely raises some ethical questions.
Yeah.
Is it okay to use something you're passionate about as a means to an end, even if it means like misrepresenting yourself or your intentions?
Yeah, that's a good question. We should dig into that more, but is there anything else?
Yeah, there's another technique that's even more perplexing.
Oh, no.
Harris suggests using politically correct language in a reverse psychological way.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. What does he mean by that?
He seems to be implying that men can use politically correct language to lull women into a sense of safety and trust,
Okay.
while simultaneously undermining those values through their actions.
So it's like that whole wolf in sheep's clothing kind of approach to dating.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head.
That's disturbing, to be honest.
It's deceptive, it's manipulative.
Yeah.
It raises serious ethical concerns because it uses language that is intended to promote respect and inclusivity as a tool for deception.
Right. It undermines the very principles of equality and respect that politically correct language is meant to uphold.
Exactly, and this brings up a crucial point. We need to be critical of the advice we choose to follow.
Okay.
Just because someone presents something as a secret or a shortcut,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean it's ethical or effective.
So while some of Harris's ideas might be intriguing on the surface, it seems like there's a lot to unpack here.
There is. It's important to remember that Rise of the Phoenix offers a very specific perspective, one that may not resonate with everyone.
For sure. And it's clear that we need to examine his advice through an ethical lens as well.
Yes, definitely.
This is turning out to be a much deeper dive than I initially expected.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
We're peeling back the layers and uncovering some thought-provoking insights.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground already. We talked about Harris's background, his use of the phoenix metaphor, and some of the more controversial techniques he promotes.
Right.
But this is just the tip of the iceberg.
We've only just begun to scratch the surface. There's much more to explore, including the potential impact of his teachings and the importance of critical thinking when it comes to self-help advice.
Absolutely. We need to delve deeper into this concept of sexual choice and examine whether his approach to dating is ultimately healthy and fulfilling. Stay tuned because there's a lot more to come in our deep dive into Rise of the Phoenix.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Rise of the Phoenix.
Back again.
As we kind of delve further into Sebastian Harris's program, I think it's crucial to examine the underlying worldview he presents, especially this whole concept of sexual choice.
Yeah, that's a phrase that's been bugging me. It seems like he's implying that men should strive to have this, ability to attract any woman they desire. Is that a fair assessment?
I think so, and it's important to understand what this term truly implies within his framework.
Okay.
He seems to be suggesting that the ultimate goal for men is to acquire this certain level of skill and mastery that allows them to choose from this vast pool of potential partners.
But isn't that just basic attraction?
Yeah.
We all have preferences.
Yeah.
We make choices about who we're interested in.
True. But Harris's concept of sexual choice goes beyond simple preference.
Okay.
He seems to frame it as a kind of power dynamic, almost a conquest. There's this undercurrent of competition and a scarcity mindset running through his program.
So he's saying there are winners and losers in the dating game?
Yeah, it's like he's saying that...
And women are prizes to be won.
Exactly. It objectifies women, and it reduces relationships to this transactional exchange.
Yeah.
And it ignores the fact that healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, trust, and shared values, not just on one person having power over the other.
Yeah, it almost feels like he's advocating for this take-what-you-can-get approach to dating, which seems pretty shallow and ultimately unfulfilling.
It can be. This kind of mindset can lead to superficial connections and a constant need for validation, which isn't conducive to genuine intimacy or personal growth.
So even if we put aside the ethical implications for a moment,
Right.
Harris's idea of sexual choice just doesn't seem to hold up as a recipe for healthy, fulfilling relationships.
It doesn't. True confidence doesn't come from manipulating others or collecting conquests. It comes from within, from knowing your worth as an individual, setting healthy boundaries, and treating others with respect.
Okay, so we've established that sexual choice, as Harris defines it, is problematic on several levels. But what about his advice on using geeky hobbies to attract women?
Right.
That seems harmless enough, right?
On the surface, maybe, but remember, he describes this as a sneaky way
Yeah.
to pique a woman's interest.
It's sneaky.
Yeah. He suggests playing up certain interests to make yourself seem more appealing.
So even something as authentic as a hobby is being framed through this lens of manipulation.
Exactly. And it raises the question, is it genuine to present like a curated version of yourself to attract a partner? Is that a solid foundation for a lasting connection?
I guess it depends on the intent.
Yeah.
Like if you're genuinely passionate about something, it's natural to want to share that with someone you're interested in.
Of course.
But if you're using a hobby as a trick
Right.
to impress someone, that seems disingenuous.
Precisely. And it's likely to backfire in the long run.
Yeah.
When you pretend to be someone you're not, it creates a disconnect that can be difficult to overcome.
So maybe the takeaway here is that it's better to be upfront about your interests and let your true self shine through. If someone isn't interested in your genuine passions, they're probably not the right person for you anyway.
I think that's a healthy perspective. Now, let's revisit another technique Harris mentions, using politically correct language in this reverse psychological way.
Yeah.
We touched upon this earlier, but I think it deserves further examination.
This one really rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
It just feels so manipulative and disrespectful.
He seems to be suggesting that men can use politically correct language as this facade
Right.
to create a sense of safety and trust
Yeah.
while acting in ways that contradict those values.
So it's a classic bait and switch tactic. You're presenting yourself as one thing while behaving in a completely different way.
Exactly. And it's not just ethically questionable. It's also incredibly damaging.
Right.
This kind of behavior contributes to a culture of distrust and makes it harder for people to be vulnerable and authentic in their interactions.
Yeah, it's like you're constantly wondering if someone is being genuine or if they're just putting on an act to manipulate you.
Right. It erodes the foundation of trust.
Yeah.
That's essential for any healthy relationship.
Okay, so we've discussed some of the more concerning aspects of Rise of the Phoenix, but is there anything we can salvage from this program? Are there any nuggets of wisdom hidden amongst the questionable advice?
I think there are.
Yeah.
Ironically, I think the most valuable advice Harris offers, albeit unintentionally, is the importance of embracing our true selves.
He frames this idea within the context of attracting women,
Yeah.
but you're saying it has broader applications.
Absolutely. The idea of radical self-acceptance is a powerful one. It's about recognizing that our flaws, our scars, our unique quirks,
Yeah.
these are not things to be hidden or ashamed of,
Right.
but rather integral parts of who we are.
So instead of trying to fit into some preconceived mold of what's attractive or desirable,
Right.
we should focus on being our authentic selves.
Precisely when we embrace our whole selves, imperfections and all,
Yeah.
we open ourselves up to genuine connection and deeper intimacy. We attract people who appreciate us for who we truly are,
Yeah.
not for who we pretend to be.
That's a powerful message, and it's one that resonates far beyond the realm of dating. Embracing our authenticity is essential for living a fulfilling life, regardless of our relationship status.
Exactly. And I think it's a message worth remembering, even if we disagree with some of the other advice Harris offers.
So as we wrap up part 2 of our deep dive into Rise of the Phoenix, I think it's safe to say that it's a mixed bag.
It is.
There are some valuable insights, but also some deeply problematic advice.
Yeah.
It's a program that requires a critical eye and a strong sense of personal ethics.
I agree. It's a reminder that just because someone presents themselves as an expert doesn't mean we should blindly accept everything they say.
We need to evaluate the information, consider different perspectives,
Yeah.
and ultimately make our own informed decisions about what resonates with us and what we choose to leave behind. And we are back for the final part of our deep dive into Rise of the Phoenix.
Part 3.
We've dissected Sebastian Harris's program, we've explored his controversial techniques, and I think uncovered some pretty thought-provoking, even disturbing elements.
Yeah, it's been quite the journey.
It has been a fascinating journey, to say the least.
Rise of the Phoenix is a complex program. It offers this unique perspective on dating and attraction,
Yeah.
one that challenges conventional wisdom and raises some important questions about ethics and authenticity.
So after all this analysis, where do we land? What are the key takeaways here for our listeners, especially those who are genuinely interested in improving their dating lives and building meaningful connections?
I think there are several valuable lessons we can glean from this deep dive.
Okay.
even if we disagree with some of Harris's methods.
All right, give us the wisdom nuggets.
First and foremost, true confidence isn't about tricks or manipulation.
Okay.
It comes from within.
All right.
It's about self-awareness, self-acceptance, and a commitment to personal growth.
So ditch the pickup artist playbook and focus on becoming the best version of yourself.
Exactly. Embrace your strength, acknowledge your weaknesses, and strive to grow not for someone else, but for yourself.
Makes sense. What else?
Remember that authenticity is magnetic. People are drawn to those who are genuine, passionate, and comfortable in their own skin.
So let your freak flag fly.
Yeah.
Embrace your quirks. Be unapologetically yourself.
Precisely. Don't be afraid to let your true colors shine through the right people.
Yeah.
We'll appreciate you for who you are, not for who you pretend to be.
I love that. What about the whole treat 'em mean, keep 'em keen mentality that some dating advice promotes?
Right.
Where does that fit in here?
That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Healthy relationships are built on a foundation of respect, not games or power plays.
So kindness matters.
Absolutely treat others with empathy, consideration, and respect, regardless of their gender or relationship status.
It sounds so simple, yet it's something so many people struggle with.
It does require effort and self-awareness, but it's worth it.
Okay, so we've got confidence, authenticity, and respect. Anything else we should keep in mind?
Communication is crucial.
Okay.
Be open and honest about your intentions, your needs, and your expectations.
So no more playing hard to get or sending mixed signals.
Right. Clear communication fosters trust and understanding, which are essential for building strong, lasting connections.
Wow, this has been a wild ride.
It has.
We've explored some pretty controversial territory. What's the ultimate message you want to leave our listeners with?
Remember that genuine fulfillment in relationships doesn't come from conquest or control. It comes from connecting with another human being on a deep, authentic level.
Okay.
It's about vulnerability, shared values, and a willingness to embrace both your own imperfections and the imperfections of others.
That's beautiful. It's a reminder that true connection transcends the superficial and delves into the realm of shared humanity.
Exactly. And while Rise of the Phoenix might offer some intriguing insights, it's essential to remember that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to dating and relationships. What works for one person may not work for another.
So no magic formulas or guaranteed results.
I'm afraid not.
Darn.
But that's what makes it so interesting.
Right.
Human connection is complex and multifaceted.
Yeah.
There's always something new to learn, and the journey is just as important as the destination.
Well said. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into Rise of the Phoenix. I hope this exploration has provided some valuable insights and sparked some interesting conversations.
I agree, and remember, the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. So be kind, be authentic, and keep exploring.
Wise words, and as always, thank you for joining us on the deep dive. Until next time, keep diving.